President Biden's own Justice Department is charging their boss's son, Hunter, with a gun felony and 2 tax misdemeanors, further debunking the stupid, baseless claim that the Justice Department is being weaponized by Democrats. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Well, folks, I don't want to get your hopes up, but it's entirely possible that we may be finally, after many years, reaching the end, the conclusion of the long and twisted Hunter Biden political drama. So the investigation, which began under President Obama into Hunter Biden, continued further and actually expanded under President Trump, and has actually further continued under President Biden, Hunter's own father, seems to be wrapping up. What am I talking about? Well, it was announced today that Hunter Biden will be charged with a gun felony of possessing a firearm while under the influence of a controlled substance and 2 tax misdemeanors. And these charges are being brought by a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, David Weiss, who was allowed to continue his investigation and continue his employment under President Biden, Hunter's own father, who had the power to fire Weiss at any time. It was a remarkable demonstration of legal and political ethics that Donald Trump would never be able to duplicate because, of course, he is infinitely more corrupt and incompetent than Joe Biden at his very worst. But here's what Axios has to say. Hunter Biden has agreed to plead guilty to not paying taxes in 2017 or 2018 and will enter into a probation agreement on a charge of illegally owning a gun while being a drug user, according to a Tuesday court filing by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, again David Weiss. Hunter Biden's agreement will likely conclude the Justice Department years-long investigation into him, in addition to prompting congressional Republicans to further ramp up their investigations into Hunter and the Biden family. Hunter Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, said in his statement that he believes this will be the end of the federal investigation into the president's son. Hunter is set to appear and be arraigned in a federal court in Delaware in the coming week, where he will enter his guilty plea. So his guilty is certain. We don't have to go through a trial. He will plead guilty. The Justice Department charged that Hunter possessed a Colt Cobra revolver in Delaware in October 2018 while knowing that he was an unlawful user of and addicted to a controlled substance. The maximum penalty for the gun charge is 10 years in jail and a fine of $250,000. He was also charged with failure to timely file and pay taxes in 2017 and 2018 when, by his own admission, he was a crack cocaine addict. As the Justice Department investigated his finances, Hunter fully paid his tax debts, Clark, Hunter's attorney, told CNN in 2022. So, yeah, this is really interesting because now we don't know for certain that this will conclude the federal government's investigation into Hunter Biden, but it seems likely that will probably be I don't want to say necessarily a condition of the deal because I'm not sure that they can dictate that to the Justice Department. But at least Hunter Biden's attorney is convinced that this will be the end. Now, this is a gun felony. It's pretty serious. And Hunter is pleading guilty to it. So again, his guilt is not in dispute. You would think that this would settle any issues or any grievances with the Republican Party. But of course, it won't, right? I doubt Republicans will, make the press rounds and say, you know what, we were wrong about the Biden Justice Department. It was remarkably professional and objective for the president to allow an attorney appointed by his political rival, Donald Trump, to continue investigating his own son and allow the investigation to mature and develop and reach a conclusion in which his son was charged with a crime. No Republican will say that. No Republican will point out the fact that what Joe Biden did here was incredibly impressive, again, with respect to political and legal ethics, that, again, Donald Trump would never be capable of doing. Can you imagine Donald Trump ever allowing an Obama-era U.S. attorney to investigate Ivanka or Jared or Don, right? He would never allow that to happen because, of course, again, he's incredibly corrupt. You will probably also see, as Axios speculates, that because this won't satisfy Republicans, they'll probably say something. Well, first, they will almost certainly continue their political investigations into Hunter Biden because they're not satisfied. They want Hunter Biden, to go away for life. They want him to be splashed on the front page every damn day because it humiliates President Biden. But furthermore, you will probably also hear Republicans, when asked about this, say, well, isn't the timing kind of suspicious? I mean, here we are, federally indicting Donald Trump. Joe Biden is persecuting his legal enemies, and so he has to throw his critics a bone, and so he allowed his Justice Department to charge his son. You're going to hear those sorts of conspiracy theories, of course, even though there's no evidence for it. So, again, as I've always said, and I think most, objective or relatively objective commentators have said, if Hunter Biden's guilty of a crime, convict him, right? If you can make the case in court or if you can convince him to plead guilty, do that. Hunter Biden should not be above the law. But the reason that I don't care about Hunter Biden is because Hunter Biden has never been a member of the federal government. Hunter Biden has never held a position in the Obama White House or in the Biden White House. He is not being paid by taxpayers. He does not wield government power. And so my interest in him is considerably less than it would be in Ivanka, Jared, and Don and others like them who had close proximity or even worked in the Trump White House and were guilty of acts of corruption and unethical behavior. They deserve infinitely more scrutiny. So anyway, kudos to President Biden for his ethics in this respect, and hopefully we are turning a corner, hopefully, in the long and twisted Hunter Biden saga.